Hello everybody, welcome to another Monday night mini medicine card reading. I'm just finishing up a piece of cheese, so pardon my chewing. Awesome, Roulette and Joe are here, and they both say yes. Welcome everybody. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we're going to do some medicine card readings. The way this works is, oh hey Shauna, awesome. So we've got obvious returning people who know how it works. So we got Roulette and Joe already, and Shauna. The first 6 people to comment yes. Oh, Nancy, awesome. The first 6 people to say yes in the comments. Oh, hey, Tammy. Good to see you, too. I'm going to shut up now because we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people already. And Deb says yes, too. And Valerie, you just missed out. Kevin, everybody's got the memo. It's like, it's a race now to see who gets on first. And what's on second. And who's on third. Anyway. So, thank you guys so much for joining me and for being right on top of things. And for anyone else who is watching, even though the individual spots are already taken, I recommend people to just kind of keep watching. Oh, okay, if Kevin, Deb said she will give her spot up for you if you would like, because we had a full reading recently. So I'll leave that up to you too. And yes, Valerie, I can pull a card for Valerie anytime. So for anyone else watching, hey Emerald, I don't know that I keep saying your name correctly. Emerald. Welcome again. So, Emerald, everybody, it's like, I swear people were just sitting there with their fingers on the button. We already have our 6. So I am sorry for those who weren't as quick on the draw. But even if you did not get a spot for an individual reading, just continue to watch. I just woke up from a nap, so it's snowing here. I woke up, I just took a nap. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not in Kansas anymore. I looked out the window and there's snow on the ground. There wasn't snow when I fell asleep. And it must have been thunder snow, because just before I went to sleep, there was this huge flash of light. I'm like, what the heck is that? And like a minute later, it was like, the whole place shook. So we had some thunder snow, so I'm a little disoriented. I should be getting my speech processes back online any minute now. My neural processor is the same. So if you didn't get a place tonight, number one, I will pull a card at the end of this for everybody, regardless of whether you have an individual one or not. I'm trying to get my phone thingy. How's that? That's better. I got a unicorn coming out of my head. And the other thing is that pay attention while I'm reading for other people, because the animal guides are so complex, and there are so many different aspects that sometimes I'll be reading for one person. One person gets an animal, and I'll be coming up with different things about that animal, and all of a sudden I'll get the ping to mention something else about the animal that may or may not have anything to do with the person whose card it is. Danger. It's funny is when I post this to my YouTube channel, I don't think the comments show up, so I'm going to be reacting to comments. People go, why is he doing danger? Okay. Hi, welcome to Monday Night Medicine Card Readings. I'm Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and let's pull some cards. Even if you aren't getting a card to yourself, know that every reading, because it's within the realm of your perception, is actually for you. Oh, hey, Melanie. So, all right, so let's get started. Roulette, you are first. Oh, and the thing I always, my ask is that please share this video. That's kind of my asking price of admission to watch this. To please share this video. You can post it to your own wall or your own page or somebody else's, or you can tag somebody in the comments who might be interested. And I was also going to ask, for those of you, like a lot of you I know personally, and I've done readings or healings. I was also going to ask if you would share the love by recommending me to your friends, assuming you enjoyed my work and assuming I did good. But it's really helpful to have people referring their friends and helping me to do the work I'm meant to do, spreading the word, all of that kind of thing. So, and for that I thank you. And some of you actually have already done that. It's like there's no greater compliment than having someone show up and say, "Oh yeah, this person referred me to you," and so anyway, thank you for that as well. All right, roulette. Let's see. Roulette. Oh. Oh, thank you, Roulette. I'm not sure how to react to that. If I won the lotto, I would make you my personal guru. You would be my Medici. I think that's their name. The sponsors of people like Michelangelo. I appreciate that. Thank you. So you got the wolf, Roulette. So what's coming to me about this is you're so wolf is the teacher, right? Oh, hey, Esperanza. Good to see you, my friend. Wolf is the teacher. And wolf is considered the teacher because of the fact that the pack always has scouts that go out ahead of the pack, right? To scout out the land, to find the safest, easiest places to like cross rivers or to get through the woods or to find a place to bed down or whatever it is. And what I'm getting for you, Roulette, is that right now you are exploring new territory. You are one of those scouts that you're finding yourself in a place that is not normal for you. Whoops. So it's like you're finding your way. It's probably not comfortable because everything is a little bit alien. There might be some familiarity, but it's like you're not really necessarily absolutely sure where you're going or what it's going to look like when you get there. But know that you are definitely on the correct path and that you are going in the right direction. You are in the right place at the right time. It's outside your comfort zone, but that's how it is meant to be. It's like, if you want to look at it this way, you are leveling up. You've done everything. How do I put it? You're basically you're outgrowing your old reality, okay? Usually that phrase comes up when snake comes up, but this is kind of the same thing, like the snake outgrowing its old skin. You're outgrowing your old territory. The pack needs new ground, and so you are having to leave the safe and known familiar landscape in order to find your way to a new place. It's like you can no longer stay where you are vibrationally because you've outgrown it. And so this automatically brings that sense of stepping outside your comfort zone. And it's easy to feel lost. It's easy to feel depressed or anxious and stuff. But know that there is purpose to this. And that you are not doing this just for the sake of yourself. There's the good of the pack riding on this as well. That You're doing this not just for your own enlightenment and expansion, but also for that of your pack. Hi, Kit Kat. You coming up? Meow. Kira's here to help. Does that make sense, Roulette? It's like you might feel lost, you might feel displaced, but you still have your guidance. You still have your power to draw on to find your way. You've got the light of Grandmother Moon lighting the way. You know, so there's that divine feminine intuition, flow, inspiration that is guiding you. So you're in good hands. This is not random or by accident. And you are going to find your way. Okay? All right. Joe. I hope that made sense, Roulette. Let's see who is gonna come and work with Joe. That is it, Roulette. Perfect. Yes. Hey, Joe. Let's see. Let me pull your card. I was just reading Roulette's comment. You're starting. That's right. You're starting your own work. That's exactly it. You're starting your own business. You're venturing out beyond what's comfortable. It takes a little more time and energy as you're what's the word I'm looking for? As you're transitioning from one reality to the next reality, you kind of have to carry both. So there's kind of that time of being in between. But it will balance and you will find yourself in the promised land. That's the words that are coming to me. So awesome. All right, Joe. Joe, you got the dragonfly. Let me feel into that for a minute. It's like you have been, I know things have shifted and changed for you as well. Just because I know you, I know some of what's going on. But Dragonfly comes along with the validation that you have nothing to worry about. You are still like all the work you have done in the past few years, few months, all of that is coming to fruition, right? Dragonfly, I don't talk about this a lot when Dragonfly comes up. It doesn't seem like the thing that is important, but Dragonfly is also similar to other insects that are born in the water. Their larval stage is in the water. They live underwater. And then they, kind of like butterfly, they break out of that old skin, their old larval stage, and get their wings and take off flying. And so it's like entering a whole new world. It's like you're living underwater. You're stuck to, I think normally they're like stuck to reeds or something. Like they live their life right there. I could be wrong. I'm gonna have to look into that. But going from being a pretty like stable, like staying in one spot animal to one who can fly anywhere, zippity doo dah, like they can move in any direction. They can move, almost right angled turns. The thing is, for those who haven't heard it, I will tell that story again. That I love this story of Dragonfly because it's appropriate for you for right now because so once upon a time there was a great and mighty dragon, and he was all powerful, and he loved to brag about how powerful he was, to brag about his deeds and his magic. And one day Coyote got tired, and what's interesting is I noticed Coyote is on the bottom of the deck. Coyote decided that someone needed to take him down a notch, getting tired of hearing all the boasting, and Coyote, knowing no one better suited to do so than himself, volunteered for the job. And so he went up to this mighty, powerful dragon and said, "I bet you're not magical enough to make yourself that big." The dragon laughed in his face and turned himself into a dragonfly. The thing is, when he turned into the dragonfly, he got caught into his own illusion. He believed at that point that he was just this tiny, fragile body, vulnerable and no magic, but he still had access to all that magic. And so when Dragonfly comes along, it's to validate for you, Joe, that number one, you've graduated from one level to the next. You've gotten your wings, and at least to some extent, more than you used to, you're able to have that perspective of the illusion. You're more in touch with your power. You're more aligned with your spirit. And so, though things may be troubling and uncertain, you have more a sense of assuredness and confidence that things are going to be okay, that there's something bigger coming, there's something better coming, that everything is unfolding in perfect harmony. And and with those multifaceted eyes that can see in every direction, at the same time, there's nothing that you can see the connections. You can see through the illusion of this world. Okay. Thanks for the reminder, Melanie. Yes, for those who've come in late, my ask as an energy exchange for watching this video is if you would please share the video. You can share it to your own page, to someone else's page. You can tag someone in the comments. But please share. Exactly, Joe. Yes, things are exactly where they should be. It's frightening but true. And that's, I went through a period, like, I guess around a year ago or something, when my life was a little shaky, and it was kind of unnerving and worrisome. And at the same time, I found myself like there was a strange calm in the middle of all of it. And I kept feeling like should be worried more. And I was worried that I wasn't worrying more. But I like, okay, I can feel that calm at the center. I know it's going to be okay. I can surrender into that truth of my being. My spirit guides have told me I'm going to be all right. So it's not up to me. So I can trust. And that sounds like that's what's happening to you. Libras. Yes. That is very Libran, isn't it? I feel great, but I better like check out those worries and anxieties at the same time to make sure everything is balanced. It's like the old, like the Minnesota thing where there's this thing, this unspoken thing in Minnesota. It's probably a whole Midwestern thing, but it's like you never strive to get exactly what you want, because once you get it, then it's like something bad's going to happen, right? Like, oh crap, I just got the dream life that I wanted. Oh my God, I'm going to die now. And so you always keep it out of reach so that, could be worse. Anyway, I don't think I explained that very well, but a little bit off tonight. I'm not sure. All right, Shauna. Time for your card. All right, Shauna. Antelope came up for you. An antelope number one, antelope is very similar to buffalo as far as they represent abundance, really. But they also, the main thing that antelope medicine is about is sacrifice. But don't freak out. A lot of times you say sacrifice, like, oh God, here it comes, there's the other shoe. But it's not, when we think sacrifice, we are kind of programmed to automatically go to martyrdom, right? Okay, I've got to give up what I love in order for someone else to do what they need to do, blah, blah, blah. And sacrifice means basically shooting ourselves in the leg for the betterment of someone else. That is not sacrifice. Sacrifice is giving of yourself. It's what it's really doing is giving up those things that distract you from or keep you at a lower vibration than your highest potential. So it could be habits or little vices that we keep with us. It's like it's not doing any real harm, and I can just keep watching Netflix as long as I want, or that extra bit of ice cream or coffee or alcohol or whatever. And there are things that we kind of give our power away to. It's like ways of numbing out. And I'm not saying there isn't, a place and a time for that. Lord knows that sometimes I just need to sit back and watch, like, Whose Line Is It Anyway or something, just like disengage the brain and kind of numb out. But that's more of a processing thing, letting things simmer beneath the surface. What this is giving up, and it's not necessarily even physical things. It's about sacrificing beliefs and thought patterns that don't serve you. And I think that's more the case here. It's like for instance, like a thought, oh God, I'm always late. I'm always late. And you keep repeating that to yourself. And so you end up being always late. And because you believe you're always late, you never prepare, you never set aside, you never learn the time management because I'm always late. So I'm just always late, right? But if you change that thought pattern, if you reassign that energy that goes into proving to yourself that you're always late, all of a sudden you might find yourself like, okay, I've got that thing tomorrow. I'm going to make my lunch now. And then you get up in the morning and you're like ready to go, and you get there like 15 minutes early, and like all that energy that goes into dampening your energy, when used correctly, will exponentially enlighten your energy. Does that make sense? The reason that Antelope is about sacrifice, Antelope has a story that goes along with him as well. That when the first people came across the Bering Strait, the bridge, the land bridge and the Bering Strait to the Americas, number one, it was during the Ice Age, so they were all cold and freezing. They didn't have shelter. They were vegetarians, so they didn't know what they could eat. And Antelope saw their plight and leapt in and said, here, take my hide for your clothing and your shelter to keep you warm. Take my meat to eat to keep you healthy and strong. Take my bones for your tools, etc. Because Antelope knew that he was not the body, he had a body, right? Like, you don't have emotions. You are not your emotions, you have emotions. You are not your thoughts, you have thoughts. You are not your body, you have a body. So Antelope, realizing that he was more than the physical body, knew that he could give up that physical body, not in a, oh, don't worry about me, I'll be okay. It might as well end this way. But because he knew that there was more, that his next step was releasing the body to fully awaken into the spirit realm. Plus, he knew that come the following spring, he would be born back into the herd. And so it was a win-win situation. If there's a sacrifice, it is, if an exchange of a sacrifice, anything you do, if it is not a win-win situation, nobody wins. Everybody loses. Because your power does not depend on what anyone else or anything else does or says or anything that happens. You are connected to spirit. You are a portion of spirit. And it's that alignment that is the only true essence of you. Everything else is temporary. Everything else is part of that illusion I was talking to Joe about. And so the more you grow, the more you surrender into your divineness, into your authenticity, into your integrity, the more things tend to leave your life, or the more things you tend to like cut out of your life because they're just not necessary. We like, oh, I need my coffee in the morning to feel like I'm awake and to keep me going and that. But it's like those kind of things are just, I was wondering what you meant by eyesore. You meant Eeyore. Don't worry about me. And And so we use so much energy to hide. We use so much energy to mask who we are, to pretend we're something else. We put so much energy into doing those things, you know, like I said, like watching Netflix without end or drinking too much coffee or whatever. We put our identity and our power into those things. But just think, if you claimed all that energy back to you, how powerful you would be. It's kind of a vicious circle. Once we start giving our power away, whether it's to thought patterns and beliefs about ourselves that we're poor or weak or whatever, you're actually turning your energy back in on itself and blocking yourself from radiating, which makes you feel weak or vulnerable or poor or whatever. So when we can let go of those things that hold us down vibrationally, just think about all that energy radiating outward, right? And then when you're radiating your true authentic self, only those things that you truly want or need are the ones that are drawn to you. Only the people who have your highest good at heart are drawn to your life, right? The more we hold those false images of ourselves, the more we attract things that aren't healthy for us. But the more we can let go. So I would just, just little things. Like Louise L. Hay and all of her work, like if you've ever read her book, You Can Heal Your Life, where she really goes into like affirmations and stuff and how they work. I think that's what I'm kind of that's what's pinging in my mind right now, is to work with affirmations, to proclaim who you are, even though you might not believe it at the moment. Because whatever you want to be, whether it's courageous or centered or whatever, you wouldn't know that if you didn't, some part of you know what that felt like, right? You wouldn't feel like anything was missing. You wouldn't feel weak or vulnerable unless you knew what it felt like to be strong and confident, right? And so when you say, I am strong and confident and robust in my health, blah, 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 you are proclaiming a truth. It may not be experienced in that moment, but it is definitely a part of you. It's like the way that we pray in gratitude. We thank Creator for those things that we haven't quite manifested yet, because it's like a show of faith that those things are going to come, that we know that we are going to gain those things. So it's the same kind of thing. And so then what you're basically doing is sacrificing those thoughts about weakness and whatever. And the word sacrifice actually means to make sacred. And this is kind of perfect timing because we just passed the holiday of Imbolc, which is Bridget's day. And Bridget was the goddess of the hearth. No, not the hearth, of the forge. And when you think about it, you have to fan the flames. You have to feed the flames in order to get the heat to create new things. And so what you're basically doing is sacrificing those thoughts and those beliefs that don't suit you, and those are becoming the fuel for the fire to create who you want to be, to create those swords or weapons or iron, whatever stuff that you already are, okay? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, Shauna. All right. So Nancy. Whoa. Normally when cards jump out, I will go with it, but basically half the deck fell away. Oh, good. I'm so glad that made sense to you, Shauna. Then I am doing my job. You are so welcome. All right, Nancy. Oh, and in case anybody is looking for a last-minute Valentine's Day gift, today and tomorrow, if you either email me or you can connect with me through my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, or my phone my work number, what is it? 253-336-0383. I have a Valentine's special right now where you can get a gift certificate for your loved one, for your sweetie, for an hour for $111. So an hour session with me, it can be a healing, it can be a reading, it can be a combination of the both. But just in case you're still looking for something unique and custom made for the person you're giving it to, I am offering that. So, all right, Nancy. Okay, so I was just talking about antelope and how it was similar to buffalo, and I didn't really go into the details, but guess what? Nancy, you got buffalo. And so buffalo is abundance. Not just, we have a tendency when we hear the word abundance, we think money, right? But abundance is everything we've got. We have an abundance of food. We have an abundance of space to live in. Buffalo is basically a gift of Mother Earth to supply her children, like I said about with antelope, with food, shelter, clothing, everything they need comes from buffalo. So buffalo is their abundance. So there isn't that sense of scarcity where, oh God, we have to hurry up and find how we're going to do this. And, we have to take it away from someone else. It's like, no, your abundance is provided for you, that everything you need comes to you easily and effortlessly in a show of love from Mother Earth, from Mother Universe, that you are cared for, and it's like Abraham Hicks talks about how there is not, in our society, we play with dualities, right? Good and bad and dark and light, and we think that they're like opposite forces banging their heads together. But there is only one source. There aren't two sources. There isn't just a source of well-being and a source of not well-being that are battling it out. There is a source of well-being that is the only source of the universe. And what we experience in our lives largely depends on how open we are to that abundance and how much we block it, whether it's blocking it through our actions or through our thoughts, through our beliefs, because our beliefs and our thoughts become the filter that we see life through, and that cuts us off from seeing everything that's out there. So good job, Nancy. It's like you're soaking in the blessings of the goddess. You're soaking in the love of the universe, the love of Mother Earth. It's like things might not be necessarily, straightforward all the time, but know that you are always taken care of. There was something else I was going to say about Buffalo. Okay. This came up with another reading recently. I can't remember who. Deb, it might have been yours. I don't remember, but no, I don't think it was. I think it was someone else. But if you think of Buffalo as this mountain of flesh on 4 legs, that represents you moving mountains. Does that make sense to you? You have been shifting a lot of things. You have been releasing a lot of things. You have been moving mountains to make space for all of those blessings, right? It's like moving the mountains out of the way so that you have that space for the blessings to rain in. And so, there's that kind of childlike wonderment of the way of looking at things from that wonderment of a child, that Zen mind, beginner's mind, trusting that everything is going to work out, that everything you need is going to come to you. Everything Disney ever taught us is true. Wishes do come true. The power of love, all of that. So, good job, Nancy. Really good job. All right, Tammy, you are up. All right, Tammy, you got butterfly in reverse. That's not bad. That just means that you're still in the cocoon for just a little bit longer. You're so welcome, Nancy. Right now, you are basically caterpillar soup. I know we did a reading just recently too, and it's so hard for me to remember exactly what came out in different readings, but things are kind of uncertain right now. Sometimes it's hard to tell up from down, left from right, because when you're in the cocoon, you are just literally genetic soup. There is no reference point. There is no butterfly in the sky. So right now, and I know this might be difficult because you're such a high energy person. But right now is a time to rest. Right now, things are changing for you on even the deepest molecular, like DNA level. Okay? And so, if you're feeling more tired lately, allow yourself to feel that, allow yourself that time, and rest. Take a nap, because it's kind of like your own personal winter. All your energy is focused inward on the changes that are happening inside. And so you don't have as much energy outside to express, to do actions, to do things. So allow yourself to rest. It's kind of like the same, like when you're sick, you really don't have the energy to do anything but rest. So allow yourself to rest, to regroup. Allow, the caterpillar's genes and DNA are rearranging themselves to create a whole new creature. And so that takes energy, and it takes time, and it's a process. And so number one, know that there's purpose behind this. There's a purpose to it. You might feel lost. You might feel in the dark, not knowing what's going to happen next. But that's because there is something huge coming. Because you have achieved the point of leveling up, not just kind of like what I mentioned with Dragonfly for Joe. You're leveling up into a whole new world. You're going from the caterpillar's world, living on a branch, whose world is maybe this big, to this creature who's almost lighter than air that can circumnavigate the globe. And this fits with what seems to be the unfolding theme of tonight, because when you're in the cocoon, you're dropping everything that keeps you earthbound, right? You're dropping all the heaviness, so that all that's left is the light. All that's left is that purity of your own innocence, your own authenticity. No more baggage. And that's what helps allow you to fly. Now, the other thing, as you come out of the cocoon, that can be, what's the word I want to use? That can be a trial in itself. It'd be kind of an ordeal. But it's like when the butterfly comes out of the cocoon, its wings don't work right away. They have this fluid in their guts. And as they're emerging from the cocoon, as they're pushing against the threads, pushing their way out, they're pushing that fluid up into their wings. And that's what makes them able to fly. If you cut the cocoon open and let the butterfly out, it would die. And it would not be able to fly because it needs that resistance. It's kind of like we keep trying to cut out all our resistance, but it's resistance that makes planes able to fly, right? If there weren't any resistance, the plane would never get off the ground. And so any resistance you experience, embrace it. Chalk it up to like doing reps in the gym or doing the treadmill in the gym. You're building muscles that you didn't have before, right? And so you're training so that you can be lighter than air, so you can fly from one hemisphere to the other hemisphere, right? And I forgot to look it. I was going to look it up at one point. I can't remember how long butterflies live, but they live a relatively long life compared to a lot of insects. So I hope that makes sense, Tammy. Hang in there. You're doing good. You're in the right place. Allow yourself to breathe. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to say no. Allow yourself to say no and allow other people to take care of their own things, even if just temporarily. That's you. That's totally you. You know, and it's funny because it's kind of ironic. It's through discipline that we gain freedom, right? Like the reason you train, like I used to take Tai Chi. I want to start doing Tai Chi again. But it's like the whole point of that, like in martial arts, is to build that body memory, right? Muscle memory. And so you have to discipline yourself to train, to practice. And so that when it comes time to use it, you don't even think about it. It's just a part of who you are. And it gives you more freedom of reaction and more freedom to do what you need to do to get out of a situation if you need to or whatever, if that makes sense. All right, Kevin. I've been seeing more of Kevin than you this last week, Tammy. He stopped by a couple of times. All right, so Kevin. All right. So Kevin, you got Crow in reverse, and this has actually been coming up quite a bit lately for people. Like the picture on the card, it's like, so when it's upright, it's Crow looking at his shadow or his reflection in the water, right? When it's reversed, it makes it hard to fly like that. When it's reversed, it's kind of like, okay, which one's the crow and which one is the reflection? So, are you going, I'm feeling like you're probably going through some sort of identity crisis or old things coming up that you thought you had already dealt with. And dang it, here they come again. And I thought I was beyond that. But there's a sense of relearning how to discern between what's truly you and what is just your reflection. You know, it's easy to get caught into the illusion of the world and lose ourselves in the dramas and all the different things going on, right? And we identify with things outside of ourselves. But right now, it's you're in a stage where it's important to stop defining yourself by the outside world and who the outside world says you are, and really getting to know that kernel of truth within you, who you really are. because no one can tell you that, no one can know that but you. And so, similar to like the antelope earlier, it's kind of like taking an inventory of your beliefs about yourself and deciding which beliefs are truly yours and which ones have been put on you by family, by parents, by teachers, by authorities, etc. And figure out which ones you're going to claim for yourself, which ones are truly yours. So this is not a bad thing. It can be kind of disconcerting, similar to Tammy being in the cocoon. But it's doing a little bit of shadow work. It's allowing those shadows to come up, shining the light on them to make them disperse, to find out the truth of what's really going on. Because again, there's that, what I mentioned earlier, that duality between light and dark, and light is good and dark is evil, blah, blah, blah. But the dark, number one, is the womb. The dark, there is nothing in the dark to be afraid of. Okay? And God, there's so many different ways I could go with this, but in a nutshell, if a thought or a belief makes you feel lighter, makes you feel more empowered, that's what is true. If a thought or a belief makes you feel like it's the shackles on, shackles off feeling. If it feels like the shackles have come off, that's true. If a thought or an action makes you feel like the shackles have gone on, that is false. That is not true for you. And so by discerning, like letting those shadows, those old thought beliefs of, like I said earlier, like I'm always late or I'm lazy or whatever, different labels that people have put upon you that you've just assumed were yours from childhood, right? It's time to look at those. Those are the shadows that we just assume that it's true. And your job right now is to take a light and shine a light at those shadows to see the kernel of truth within them. Because if you, like I said, the darkness, there is no good or evil, good and evil. It's all love. And if you delve deep enough, if you keep delving into, self-knowledge, discovering yourself, learning about yourself, if you keep coming up with negatives, keep going. Because at your essence, you are divine light and love. And until you reach that, you haven't hit the truth yet. If you're still getting falsehoods coming up, telling you you're crappy or you're not good or you should do better or whatever, those things are not true unless you deem them to be so. And that's just allowing your shadow to grow. You're not looking at it. You're just assuming and going ahead, allowing your own thoughts and beliefs and the thoughts and beliefs of the world to define you. But you are undefinable. So don't get caught into the illusions of the world, into, your identity. What Dr. Wayne Dyer once had his students do if I remember this correctly, he had his students do this exercise where they had to tell him who they were without using adjectives, without using labels. Because like he said, when you label me, you limit me. And ultimately, we are unlimited. We are limitless. We are divine beings. These bodies, this world is temporary. It's an illusion. It has purpose, but it is an illusion. And so the ultimate quest is to remember our divinehood. And that's the thing, is that it's a remembering. It's not off on some mountain, some place that you have to quest for, that you have to climb and answer the riddle of the Sphinx. And, you know, it's already there. It's a matter of remembering that. You know, I did this one, I was in a meditation class. I think I've told this story. I tend to tell my stories over and over, but in the meditation, we each got to ride our own sea turtle, and it took us out into the waves, and it was really fun. And then the person guiding the meditation was like, okay, now your turtles turn around and bring you back to shore. Well, my turtle decided to do something different, and my turtle dove. So I'm on the back of this turtle in this meditation, going deeper and deeper. The water's getting darker and darker and colder, and I'm freaking out. Not only because I think I was a sailor in a past life that drowned at sea or something, but there's just something about those depths and being in the dark and not knowing what's out there. You know, it's freaky. And all of a sudden I heard the voice of Goddess in my head, and she said, what do you think could possibly be here that isn't me? And that has stuck with me. I mean, that was probably 12, 15 years ago, something like that. When you find yourself in the darkness, you know, like another channeled entity, Bartholomew, used to say, whatever it is God. There's nothing else but, right? So I hope that's helpful, Kevin. And so I'm going to pull one more card for everybody, whether you got a personal reading or not, just to cover all bases. So this will be for everybody for this coming week. Okay, you're in luck. Awesome, I'm glad you like that. We have 2 cards that jumped out, so you get 2 cards this week. 2 bonus cards. We got Lizard Upright and Salmon Reversed. Lizard is the dreamer. And this is so totally with everything I just said, with all of the different readings I did tonight. I love when there's that thread of connection to all of them. But you are the dreamer of your world. Lizard is the dreamer. He sits in the sun, basking all day, dreaming his world into existence, right? Salmon is about going home, about that remembering that I was talking about, that journey home. And in reverse, it's like that feeling lost, not trusting your own compass. Salmon knows without a shadow of a doubt which way to go, how to get home, how to get back to where he came from. But the problem is that we aren't dreaming big enough, right? We're dreaming for the next paycheck. We're dreaming for the next rent payment. We're dreaming for, you know, oh, I hope that person likes me or whatever. We're not dreaming as big as we can. And the universe will reflect that. Your world reflects what you believe. And so to take it out of, how do I want to say that? To claim yourself as the dreamer, that your dreams do come true When you wish upon a star. That was really bad. But dream for the stars. Dream for home. Like, I used to go see Ramtha, another channeled being here in Washington State. And one of the things he said that it stuck with me, don't manifest the money for the shoes. Manifest the shoes. We tend to spend our lives trying to manifest. We're dreaming about the money for what we want rather than trying to create what we want. Dream bigger. Dream whatever your desires are, because those desires are the compass. That is the compass that salmon follows home, right? The desires you have are divinely given, so you know which way to go. It's like, I have this desire for this. I have this desire to do that. Follow those desires. That's what Joseph Campbell meant about by follow your bliss. It's like, follow those desires. Follow what brings you joy. That is your compass home. And pretty soon you'll be doing things that other people can't, like swimming up river. You're going totally against the waves because you have that enthusiasm, that joy of spirit within you, carrying you home. You can do anything. You just need to dream it, you know. And the same on a global scale. There's one thing that the shamans have always said is that humanity is dreaming the wrong dream. We keep dreaming of power. We keep dreaming of other people being peaceful without addressing our own inner peace. And so we keep dreaming of wars, of you know, gaining power over, rather than really imagining a world that lives as one, right? Imagine there's no countries. It's a matter of dreaming. And when we start dreaming the correct dream, those dreams come true, just like Disney told us. So dream the big dreams. Don't settle. You are worth the fulfillment of your deepest desires, whatever they are. They wouldn't be there if that wasn't the correct direction to go, okay? So believe in yourself. Claim that power of the dreamer. You are the writer, the author, the director of your own story. You are the hero of your story, and only you can write how that ends, how that comes about. So take that pen in hand, just like that Natasha Bedingfield song, Unwritten. Your future is unwritten. You've got the pen in your hand. The pages are empty before you. What are you going to write? What are you going to dream into your life? Okay? So that is our time for tonight, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me. If you came in late or you'd like to re-watch this, I am going to share this video to my Facebook page, Perching Wolf Studios Facebook page, and I'm also going to upload it to my Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel. So subscribe to that, like my videos. That helps me pop up in the status or statistics or whatever. And there's like almost 3 years worth of these videos there as well. So that's a free resource for you if you need a little pick-me-up, a little guidance, a little peace. And I am also available. My job is to support you, to help you find your way home, right? And so I am always here. You can check out my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, to see what shamanic services I offer, the readings. You get a full reading with 5 or more cards, shamanic healing, soul retrieval. And then I've also got classes coming up, and I do mentorships. So I'm going to be starting. I got to get my act together, but I think in March I'm going to be starting a new year-long shamanic course, a monthly course. We meet once a month, and we address different aspects of shamanism for an entire year. So I always love that, and so stay tuned for more information on my page, on my Facebook page, and on my website. Oh, and I also gratefully accept donations if you feel like, this is my full-time job now. So if you feel moved, got more out of this than you thought you would, or whatever, my PayPal information will be in the description under this video. And I thank you so much to supporting the shaman so the shaman can support you. Support your local shaman. So thank you so much for that. If you're interested, I also do a Wednesday night live video of the Sacred Pipe Ceremony right here at 7 o'clock, doing the pipe ceremony to hold space for people to connect to spirit. There's so much crazy stuff going on. I thought one of the things I can offer is a space once a week for an hour or so for people to be able to just sit safe and sacred space, open their hearts to connect to spirit. So join me Wednesday night if that sounds good for you. Otherwise, I hope you come back on next Monday. Bring your friends, share the video, recommend me if you've had readings or classes or healings with me. Tell your friends I'm available. So awesome. All right. So I think that is it. So have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Remember, I'm doing a Valentine's special. If you need a last minute gift, you can get a gift certificate for an hour session with me. It can be either reading or healing or a combination of the both for $111. So you can get that by texting me at 253-336-0383 or emailing me or through my website. Today and tomorrow, last minute gift, that is, get the gift of healing or the gift of insight, custom made for whoever you give that gift to. So, and I thank you in advance. I thank you for your support. I thank you for being here. I always look so forward to sharing this time with you. So until I see you next, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everybody. Go shining. Bye.